So it's really great to see all of you, and in keeping with what we promise every term, I always bring in the next professor so you can know who the person is, you can hear their story, and you can start to get a sense of how they'll be in a classroom. I think it takes some of the sort of, not trauma, but the concern away, particularly as you're moving through a class and finishing, like this one. So I know you've had a great time with Mark, but I would like to introduce you to Jessica Fraga. Jessica is going to be teaching OL 540, and it's talent and performance management. A little background, I've known Jessica 20 years.
Yeah.
She was an undergrad student of mine. She was a master's student of mine. And then as soon as she finished, I hired her. And then every place I've gone, I've hired her again. So that'll give you an idea of how much I believe in her. And also, I know about the way she treats students and works with you. So I asked Jess tonight to come in and introduce herself, tell you a little bit about herself, and then you kind of know what to look forward to next week. So, Jess?
Thanks, Sandy. So, hi, everyone. I'm Jess. Hi, Jess. Thank you. Just call me Jess. There's no fancy names. I don't believe in titles, so we don't have to worry about any of that silliness. Sandy and I once used to work at a university where if any of the deans or anyone came in, it had to be like Professor Fraga. And I was always like, that's not me. So as Cindy said, we've known each other about 20 years. I've actually been teaching now. I'm going on my 10th year, teaching in both undergrad and graduate programs. And for me, I feel like I was just a grad student. So knowing that it was actually 10 years ago feels kind of amazing. Like, okay, I made it out, and I can smile thinking about it. So there's a lot that's about me that you guys will learn over the course of our learnings, because I try to bring in as many personal examples to learning as I can so that it's relatable. In your classrooms next week, you'll see there's a video that we put up that kind of gives like a brief history of my background, kind of why I do teach now. But the Reader's Digest version is that came from an abusive family. My mother escaped that for a little bit. We became homeless. Through that, there was a lot of things that stuck with me, ended up dropping out of high school. And the note with that is it was actually suggested to me by the guidance counselor of the school at the time, because I was never going to make anything of myself because I just didn't care. But really all I wanted was someone to give me a chance. Like I was just looking for someone to help me. And so by the time I got my GED, my class was still in school. So I got my GED before my class even graduated from high school, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove this guy wrong. And so that's where a lot of my passion comes from for learning, is from that part of my background. I did get bachelor's degree, then I went and got my master's degree, which I don't think I would have done had Sandy not told everybody in an audience that I was going to be signing up to get my master's degree. So, surprise, I was like, yeah, I'm signing up. I am. But she knew what was right for me before I did at times, and I knew to kind of just trust in her, and it was exactly what I needed. And it was one of the greatest things that I've ever done. And so going from high school dropout to having a master's degree, I'm in the process of applying for my doctoral studies. So we'll see how that goes over the next couple years. But I have a very vast background as well. I have over 20 years experience in the business world, both in nonprofit and for-profit. So I'm able to bring a lot of those experiences into this. Strong HR background, so pretty much everything nuts and bolts of HR I've worked for and I've done at one point in my career. And then I also transitioned into what's called lean. Anyone who works in manufacturing, they know about that a little bit, but it's kind of a processing and making sure things run smoothly. And when there's an error, you immediately recognize it instead of kind of sweeping it under the rug and pretending it wasn't there and maybe someone else will catch it. So it's about how to make your environment really friendly and good for employees, but that's not how every organization uses it, but that's the gist of how that should be used. So I do take a lot of those tools and put those into the learning as well. So you guys will get a really good, vast background of information to come from. Are there any questions or concerns that you have for me before we start next week? Yeah. Yay! Yeah.
Do you use a book for the class or just reading?
Nope, they're all online. So the book that we use, it's done in PDF. So each chapter that you need is into the classroom for that week. And then same with any of the assignments, like any of their special readings, articles, those will all be in the classroom for you as well. Yes?
What is the class?
Thank you. So talent and performance management is one of my passions because I care about engagement more than anything else. And I fully understand that for a really well-run organization to run, you need to reward and appreciate your employees. So that's really kind of what this whole thing is about, is how to breed and foster inclusive working environments so that people can be their best. You want people to be able to work to the top of their skill set, not at the bottom. So it's creating pathways in your work environment to do that for folks so they feel like I'm really appreciated and they know my skills and they're not underutilizing me. So that's kind of the basis of what it is. So it's a lot about engagement and inclusion. Any others? Yay!
Any special projects?
Maybe.
We have a midterm project.
No, so I run my classes probably very similar to how Sandy does, if you've ever had her, which is paper-based. So we do write a lot in my classes, but I always say don't panic when people hear that because it's truly one of the best ways to learn. So there's going to be a lot of writing in the class, but there will be little projects, especially when we're meeting on ground. We'll be having little projects to do in class. But fun.
And case study.
And case studies, of course, yes. I include that, yep.
Will the classes be open like on Sunday, and then we do the readings prior to coming to actual class, or is it the opposite?
So I just had this conversation with Sandy. So the class is opened up still on Sunday for you, but you're not expected to know that material by Thursday. So I will lecture Thursday, and I say lecture lightly because I'm not a lecturer, but I will present the materials in a way that we'll all learn from it. And then your papers will be due after those courses and any other assignments that we have, whether it be a case study or a group assignment, anything like that.
I like that.
Good. Me too.
Week one this Sunday?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Just
Yep.
no, the first one doesn't.
Oh, that's right.
Until
Because of the weird thing, it's Wednesday, right?
Wednesday. So the week doesn't, it would normally be, we would open on Sunday, but because the actual session
Doesn't start.
until Wednesday, that's the day. It might even be the 5th, but I know the 6th it will definitely be up.
Right. But what I will do is I will send out an email to everybody with what I have on the announcement for that first week. So if anyone's really just itching to look things up, you can.
Are you doing the onboarding?
I will, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to add that, I believe, so.
So there'll be a question starting week, it's a half a week.
Right.
Because we have 7.5 weeks, so you'll have just a question that Jess will post, and then you'll respond to it by Sunday. It's just a little half a week, but this at least covers the time frame. So
Right.
that's onboarding is what you're doing.
Yep. Yep. So I've got to add that to the course because I did not have that. Anything else? I would say come prepared to learn, but also come prepared to have a little fun in the classroom. Sandy knows I sometimes come in looking like a kindergarten teacher because I'm a big proponent of different learning styles, and some people the best way to learn is by hands-on. So I'll try to bring in little things that we can do together hands-on wise to learn how things are done maybe in an office or something like that. So, and don't be afraid to reach out to me. That's a big one. I'm a big proponent of communication, so yes.
What do you prefer, email, text?
I love this. Yeah, so you'll see there's a video I put up and I was like, if you text me, almost immediately I'll respond because I'm like that. I'm a true almost millennial, but not really. And email's great too. Phone calls might be harder just because if I'm doing something during the day, I might not be able to get to the phone right away. But even if, this is horrible to say, but even if I'm doing something but I get a text, if I have that moment, I can quickly make an answer a question. All right. Well, I'm super excited to get to know all of you guys in the next coming weeks. So any questions, concerns, please reach out to me. Otherwise, enjoy your last class, right?